Hello there. On the back of the most recent episode of Lower Decks, Season 5, Episode 9, I did an episode just before that about Harry Kim's triumphant return to the franchise, and then that episode aired, I think, the same day I had to put that video out, and now I need to do an update, which I kind of predicted, because I didn't really know what that Harry Kim characters were going to be like, and now I do. And it was awesome. I mean, if you've not watched it, by the way, huge spoilers ahead. I'm not going to go over the full episode as an episode breakdown or anything. I just want to continue on the Harry Kim sagas. The Harry Kim of the prime timeline does not feature every Harry Kim, which Trek Culture, by the way, if you watch that channel as well, they did a full episode breakdown. They counted 15 different Harry Kims. I've not bothered to do that, mostly because I have a job outside of this, and I don't have that kind of time in my life, but they go them. They say there's 15, I'm going to believe them. There's 15 distinct Harry Kims in this episode. 14 of them are ensigns. Because of course they are. From 14 separate realities, of course. 15 separate realities, including the one that actually got promoted. Sorry. But of course they would be, because the same Harry Kim wouldn't exist in the same reality. I'm going off topic. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe, and let's get into Harry fucking Kim. So, who do we have? We have a ship of Harry's. We have a Defiant class vessel under the control of Section 31. It's a bit darker looking than your typical Defiant class. The Anaximander, as it's called, which is a bit of a mouthful and hard to pronounce, and I may not be saying it correctly, is the name of the ship. Got to assume that this vessel was appropriated somehow by Section 31. I don't think it's exactly on loan, because there don't seem to be any regular Starfleet personnel aboard it, except for T'Pol. Jolene Blaylock returned. That's another topic, but also very happy. Also, for the first time since Deep Space Nine, we basically saw the guy dying and his personality put into Odo's body. We got to meet Curzon Dax. And he was awesome. He was really awesome. In fact, everyone in this was awesome, and I really like William Boimler more than Brad Boimler. His character just irritates me. I can't help it. I have grown to love him, but people you love can still annoy you. And he annoys me. I'm sorry. But I do really like his transporter clone, William Boimler. Now, what we see in this episode are so many Easter eggs, so I'm not going to break all of it down. We see an Enterprise-style ring ship called the Beagle, which I assume is named not after Archer's dog. Although it could be. I presumed, because it was actually before Archer, actually timeline-wise, it wouldn't be Archer's dog. But I would presume it's named after the HMS Beagle. Was it HMS or was it SS? Darwin's ship, where he went to South America and he decided, on evolution. That ship. Anyway, I assume it's that one. This vessel was a quantum reality drive, basically a dimension ship. Something we've seen from time to time in Star Trek, and there was lots of really fascinating universes they claim to have visited. Ones where humans created continent-sized ships, which is a universe I want to go to. I want to know where that is. My first thought was, you've gone to the Warhammer universe? Because that's literally what popped into my head when they said it. I mean, I know they don't have continent size. I think that's more Independence Day, but those aren't human. So, Warhammer? Is that now canon in Star Trek? It isn't. Of course it's not. But they do both use warp. Different warp. But they have warp. Anyway, moving on. In this, we meet the Harrys, the Kims. Now, they seem to make up the majority of the crew of the Anaximander. But they have different uniforms on, so you've got them right across the spectrum. Except for medical, which that's taken up by holographic Dr. Bashir and Dr. Garak, which was just wonderful. It was so lovely that they've really embraced that whole, less than subtle subtext that there was some sexual tension between those two characters in Deep Space Nine. I mean, I know the writers and the producers like, no, back when the show was on. And both actors, particularly Andrew Robinson, played the character like he really had a big Cardassian boner for Dr. Bashir. But they wouldn't let them do it. And here, they're just going, screw it. No, they are. They are in love. They are a couple. It's beautiful. I'm glad to say none of the Kims were. But then, we rescue another Kim. And this guy, he's got 2 pips. Now, in my last episode, I went on about how there was a future version of Harry Kim who was a captain. And he actually breaks the temporal accords. Well, they don't exist then, but the temporal prime directive, which also may not have existed then. But basically, you don't F with time, right? And he was like, yeah, Admiral, you want to go back in time and change the past just to save a few people and get the ship home a little faster? Who am I to argue? I don't like my life anyway. Who likes being a captain? And there we go. So now I'm of the opinion that Harry Kim should not be promoted. He needs to stay in a forever ensign, because the 2-pip version of Kim starts to get increasingly frustrated that all the other Kims are ensigns, that they're separated in their holding cells from the actual officer class, that none of them in their respective universes have achieved anything. They're all still ensigns. And a lot of them, they made a good point of saying, like, why were they never promoted? And I did an episode once where I mentioned about how Tom Paris was demoted and then re-promoted, when I think personally they should have kept him as an ensign, as he wasn't a career officer. And as there was now a lieutenant vacancy, they should have given that to Harry Kim. That's my personal opinion. But one of the Kims actually points out that, we've got the Vidians and the Borg and the Kazon and all that jazz going on. It didn't really seem very important how many pips you had on your collar. Survival was the more important thing, and I never really looked at it like that, and I agree. But this guy, this Kim, he's an ass, and he does not agree. And after feeling shunted, after feeling that him and the other Kims were not respected enough, they steal the alternate reality ship, the ring ship, and he says, I'm going to take you all to my reality where you've all got a chance of promotion. They're like, no, we don't want to do that. They try to overpower him. He manages to get a phaser and he beams them off the ship, transporting them over to the Defiant class vessel, because I don't want to keep trying to pronounce that ship's name because I find it rather difficult. And then he engages the reality drive, and on his way out he says what is now possibly my favorite line uttered in Star Trek ever. So move over, live long and prosper. Move over, infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Move over, resistance is futile. Now we've got I'm Harry fucking Kim as my new favorite thing that anyone in Star Trek has ever said. It's up there with sheer fucking hubris. Which was, controversial at the time, but yeah, come on. Language is language. There's no such thing as bad language. You want to make a point across, you've got to swear. Picard was showing a lot of hubris. Anyway, we now see this Kim is demonstrating why Harry was never promoted. Janeway, I got a lot more respect for you. I understand now. You kept him an ensign for a reason. You must have thought about it, evaluated him, psychographic profiles, maybe a bit of DNA testing, see if there's any, underlying sociological traits that could have come to the surface given a little bit more power. Yeah? And determine, this guy's got some issues. He's got some mommy issues for a start. And then there's all the other issues. Fucking Harry Kim. So yeah, we don't promote Harry. Harry, you stay an ensign. You will be an ensign forever, don't worry. You'll be a beautiful young ensign forever. Absolutely loved it. Want to see more. Can't wait for the next episode because it's making this. It hasn't been made yet. Hasn't been on anyway. It's been made. With that said, we're at the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, share, and subscribe. And bye-bye.